Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday, June the 13th. You're probably thinking, hey, I didn't think there'd be a chart lesson today, but it was such a good trading day. I hung around here longer than I planned on it, and I just thought I'd go ahead and show you what I saw up until I really was done about 11 o'clock here, and I was going to leave, but we just kept going higher. And then when I saw this setup here, I couldn't refuse it, so I stayed in and I rode this one up until we touched the what I thought at the time was the upper trend line at the time, and exited. And I wish I'd have hung on because it's still going higher. And what we really had was we had a spike in channel here. We spiked up out of that little range and went into this channel, and we've been in there all day, and now we've broken even higher than that. And it was another one of these days where you kind of had a little midline through here, and I'm guessing what we're going to find out is that this channel is going to go even that much higher. I just don't know. Let's just put it up there and see. Is that where we're headed? Because that gives you a channel about the same size as that one. So I'm thinking maybe that's where we're headed. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll be there and we'll find out by the time I finish the video here. It's going to be real quick because I didn't intend to do one. I need to get out of here. I don't even have my bag packed yet, and so I'm going to be in trouble if I don't get home and start getting ready for our trip to Brazil. I probably won't be back to the 24th of June. That'll be probably my first day back in the office, assuming I don't have any problems getting back in the country with our flights and things like that, which has happened a lot to us the last few years. So if I'm not back on the 24th, you'll know I probably didn't get back yet. And I'll be back in on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever I do get back. First day, I'll be back the next day. So but let's talk about the trades real quick. Wrap this thing up. If you will, hold your emails again until I get back. If you have an emergency or something, downloading the manual, that kind of thing, don't hesitate to let us know. Somebody will be checking email. If not me, one of my assistants will check it from time to time as well. So we'll probably check it once a day, but probably no more than that. So if you don't hear right back, you'll hear back within 24 hours if you've got some kind of issue. If it's not something with a downloading the manual or having problems getting your manual, then you probably won't hear back from me. So, but anyway, let's talk about the trades. On this first spike up, this was like, it's two legs up, but it's really one leg, and then you get another leg. And so when we spiked higher here, I was looking for a target of this right here. Notice if you move that up, you got a perfect measured move, and then we sold off. And so I had my line drawn off these top two first, and I drug it down, and that's right where we bounced. But I thought maybe it was just an overshoot. But it looks like what we did was we had, I mean, this was the channel for the most, for for the most part that you could see today until we broke higher right here. And are we going to go up here? I don't know. But this seems to happen a lot lately. It's just really tough to find a real clear pattern of where prices are headed. I mean, on the way down we get overshoots, and on the way up we get overshoots. It's just been a much more volatile and high volume market than what we've had really in the past for the last year or two almost. So but anyway, I saw the spike in channel. That's what I was trading all the way up. Of course, I didn't take any counter trend trades, and this is why, because you get caught up in something like this and you get yourself in trouble, or you think you're going to go short right here and you get caught and get in trouble. It's not worth it. You're better off. All you had to do is wait on prices to come back to this trend line, and look what happened every time we came back to it. It was easy money, and several of these had runners that were really good that you could have ridden up all day on a single contract. So the first trade I saw was this two-legged pull back to the EMA. It looked like we were kind of in a trading range here. We kind of had a little reversal, and I don't have that on there, but that was what I saw early on. with the break and the move to a new low, and then we made a lower double bottom, higher double bottom, and then we made another little failed entry. So we were working out of there, and this was a breakout, a two-legged pullback, so a second entry long on so a breakout pullback long, and you see it took a little work to get going, but you can't really ignore those traps. So I like that setup. I did use a limit order here, and it came back and filled me here, and then went on up, and then of course it came back and stopped me out again on my runner. But I entered right there again, so all I got off this one was the scalp portion, no runners. But guess what? Right here, you get a runner, and it survived by the skin of its teeth, but it did survive. Great, even if you exited up here at the top, you got two or three points out of it. And then this one was a little tricky here because you might have been thinking two legs back to the EMA, but we weren't back to the EMA, we weren't back to the upper side, and this just looked like an overshoot at the time to me. So I was looking for prices to reverse or at least come back to the trend line. And then guess what happened here? We come back. Let me get this out of the way. And we make this little bearish bar, and this trapped a lot of people short right here. Hopefully none of you got trapped short because you were probably drawing your trend line up through here. And look at that reversal bar, go long right above that. Easy move up, couple of points on your runners. It did come back and take out the runners here, unfortunately, so no big runners. But guess what? You got some bigger runners here if you used a limit order, which I did. When this broke higher, because this was it went lower first and then went higher. But I waited and dropped a limit order in there. I wasn't sure if I was going to get filled. I'm glad I did, because look at that move up. And it turned out to be a real good move up. And it's just a two-legged pullback to the trend line. One leg correction, two leg, and then a nice reversal. And it broke lower here first and then went out the high side. And so you could have used a stop there, but I just didn't like that big bearish bar getting high, getting long that high up the bar. So I dropped a limit order a tick or so inside this bar. It looks like you could have easily gotten filled 2 ticks, maybe even 3 ticks, depending on when you got your order in there. So and if you used the limit order, you probably survived your runners here. But I'll be honest with you, I just exited up here. When we started overlapping, I just started drawing and I just exited here. We came back, we got a little bit of a break here, turned back, made a new low, and then guess what? Reversed out of there. Again, because of all that overlap, I would have used the limit order here. I didn't get filled the first time, but it came back right here. Hopefully you got filled on this one. I didn't. I was being a little too conservative. I was only going to take a couple of trades today, and I kept hesitating whether I was going to take another one, but it just kept going higher and bouncing off this trend line. And so then we come back again here, and again it was all this overlap. So as soon as we broke higher, I just dropped a limit order in here, and it did come back and fill me, and then it went on higher. And no real runners on that one. But then this is just another two-legged pullback to the trend line, and we bounced right off of it. And again, because of all the overlap, when we broke higher, I just dropped the limit order. It came back, got me. Again, no runners on that trade. It came right back and got them. But then you got a chance to enter here, and this time it broke higher. It didn't come back quite enough to get the runners, depending on where you entered. I'm not sure if you entered. I entered right here, so see, it didn't get the stops. If you waited for this bar, what it did, it broke below the little doji first and then went out the top. So I had my stop sitting there. I wasn't going to miss it like I did those others. And so it didn't come back and get my runner here, so I was able to ride this one on up. I held on to this one because by this time I'm thinking this thing is going higher. And notice it made a higher low here, and another chance to get in. This time you figure we're going up to the other side more than likely because we couldn't get back to this side again, and there it goes. And so runners off either one of these were safe, and then You had a little trap right here. Notice we kind of got stuck in this trading range. You might have gotten tricked here as well. I was tempted to enter here, but I wasn't going to trade anymore. But when I saw this trap, I couldn't refuse and I had to enter. So, but let's talk about this one, because some of you might have got, because notice you got one leg back, first entry, second leg back, so a second entry long. But if you were drawing your little trend lines, we hadn't got a break yet. We didn't really get a break until here. We closed outside it by a tick or so right there, then came down and tried to go lower twice, trapped everybody. It's a failed break below this double bottom as well, and then another little break lower, so go long right there. And again, you could still be riding your runners here. I went ahead and took this trade and I exited off this high. I didn't see it, you know, I thought we might break higher, but I didn't see this happening. And my guess is we're headed to this other line, and you can see it looks like we're headed there. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to hang around here very long. I'm going to wrap this up. But, you know, you basically were just buying off of this trend line all day long. And if you didn't like this one, you got a good setup here. So even though that's not a real good setup there, you got a great one here. So, and you really got almost the same entry kind of point. So you maybe a little bit better entry over here by being more aggressive. But most every one of these on my chart anyway has a great setup bar, nice reversal type bar, except for that one right there. And this was the trap to the low side. So, and there we go. We're still going higher. My guess is that's where we're headed. And it's just been some really interesting trading lately. Once it starts trending in one direction, this is why we don't counter trend trade. You can see there would have been some winners in here, but it's not worth it, because next thing you know, you get caught here or here, and it's rocketing higher on you, and you're on the wrong side, and that's what costs you. So, you know, when you get a trend line, you can see that EMA. Look at that EMA. It's been up. It got a little flat a couple times, but otherwise it's been up, and as the days progress, it's gotten straighter and straighter up. So, you know, that's a good sign that, you know, the trend is up and everything's going from the lower left to the higher right, and it just keeps on going. And boy, I wish I was still in that thing. So nice trade. Hopefully some of y'all got in on this. And there was a two-legged pullback right there, but I don't know if I would have entered there or not, because it's similar to this failure here, and there was another one somewhere. I can't remember where it was. And this one right here. They're similar setups, and you see they failed, but this time it didn't. And it looks like we're finding some resistance up there now. But this has been a really good trading day. Yesterday was too. It was all downhill yesterday and all uphill today. So don't fight the trend. Stay with the trend. That's the best thing I can tell you. That's the most important thing to remember. Don't fight the trend, and try to find your trend line, because all you had to do was buy off that trend line all day long, and it was easy pickings, easy money. So but I'm going to wrap it up, and right now it looks like we've topped out to the tick on that other line. So that's probably going to be it up there. It doesn't mean that we can't still go higher, so be careful. It doesn't mean you want to counter trend trade yet either. So because we could still break through that one and head for another one. But just remember, I'll be gone. No chart lessons for the next 2 weeks almost. I'll be back on the 24th if assuming that all our flights are on time and get back as scheduled. And hope y'all have a good 2 weeks of trading, and we'll see you when I get back. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.